I'm Michael Killen, and I produce a show called Michael Killen Radio at KZSU Stanford Radio 90.1 FM. And I also produce a show called The Killen Report on television that is released to over 50 TV stations in the United States. Most of my life, I have focused on business issues. And up to about 10, 12 years ago, I could not really tell you where Picasso or Matisse fit in the world of art. Somehow, I am now here with 4 incredible artists, all from Marin County. And this group, and we're missing one today, call themselves the Bagel Boys. And I really got interested in this group when I attended a viewing of a documentary that is under development about these 4 men and 1 other man, the Bagel Boys. So I have invited them to come on this program, and since they are really experienced artists, I want to get them to share some insights about art that you may find of interest, and it may help you enrich your life like my relationship with them and art has enriched my life. I want to start with the troublemaker. And you can tell he knows who it's going to be. Harry, my buddy.
How do you do? How do you do, Michael?
How are you these days?
Good, very good.
Here's a hard
For an
question.
old guy,
A hard question. Why would I call you a troublemaker?
well,
See ya.
now I'm embarrassed to say, because I guess I know you too well.
Yeah. Well, the term a bagel boy comes about, I believe, and I'm sure you've done this to everyone else. Whenever I have come to visit you,
Yes, I have a fondness for bagels.
you would not let me in your house unless I
Oh,
brought
absolutely,
bagels.
absolutely. And I even had you go to the right bagel shop.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And
Not all bagels are the same.
yeah, and so your interest and demands for bagels has led to the creation of this.
Well,
okay.
I'm not sure about that, but I think it's a general fondness for each other.
Okay, I was wondering if you would share with us the name of 1 or 2 artists that you discovered, came in contact with, studied, that have influenced your life.
Well, when I was young, I was fortunate enough to be going to a school after World War II, and at that time, Europe was in trouble, and a lot of wonderful artists came from Europe, and one of them was Oskar Kokoschka. And because when he came to the school and addressed us, and then eventually we went out to Pittsfield and the Berkshires, and he taught that summer, and I joined him. And the wonderful thing for me then was to hear a real artist talk about art. And he didn't talk about technique. He didn't talk about how you painted, how you devised your mechanics of art. He talked about life. And that, geez, now this was a totally different feeling about art, because in the school, all you talked about was technique, materials, how to use them, where to buy them, that kind of thing. And here he was, not a word about technique, not a word about size. He talked about life.
And you are linking life and art together.
Well, at that time after the war, you weren't kids anymore. You were adults. You didn't want all that soporific crap about kids and art, and they didn't have that indulgence. There was an urgency to get on with your life.
Okay.
You know.
So right now, Harry, what is making art mean to you?
Geez, I don't know. All I know is every day I wake up, I have an urgency to paint. I don't know where the hell this urgency comes from. I don't know that anyone here knows why am I don't have anything to prove. I have a whole body of work for 50, 60 years laying in storage.
Once you told me when you started painting, you are trying to bring order to
If
something.
I said that, that's probably what I felt then.
How do you feel now, Harry?
Good question. A good question. I need to constantly explore experience. I have a curiosity that's insatiable. Is that a good an explanation?
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
We can appreciate that.
Yeah. So that I'm always discovering something.
And
Yeah.
are you discovering the relationship to the...
Yeah. Whatever I see stimulates me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, wonderful. And I'm going to say this is one of your babies.
Yes, it's a very good one.
Yeah. Thank you, Harry. Can we decide that?
Well, no, I'm just giving you an opinion.
Harry, I like it. I really like it. And I wish it was mine. But
Okay,
that's
all right.
No.
Yeah.
All right. So Harry Cohen, thank you very much.
All right.
Brian, when did you start making art?
I didn't know I was doing it at the time, but I started very young. I was just doing what felt like to do.
What is the most important quality or benefit emotionally, personally, that you have gotten out of making art?
Ooh. Satisfaction for sure.
What does that mean, satisfaction?
Satisfaction with what I have brought together. I've gone through a lot of changes. I have a lot of styles, a lot of techniques. I shift one thing to another. I go from portraiture to abstracts. I do as much as I can, and I know that if I paint in front of my easel, 5 or 6 hours will go by like 2 for me. It's another place to go. It's very nice there.
Very nice. I got Harry to say that when he paints, and maybe I forced that on him, he's bringing order to something. And I know he also works at giving us beauty. What are you working toward when you paint?
Well, I spent a good part of my life doing commercial art, and you pretty well directed what you're going to do. I got out of that and went in and swung the other way. There are times, quite often, where I've not known what to do. I said, grab a color. I don't know what color it is. It's purple. I'm screwed. Okay, and then I'll start to paint something, and then I find out I've got a landscape of Europe somewhere. I let it flow. I try not to direct it unless I'm doing a portrait. Then I have to bring my control in and pay attention to what I observe. Other things I paint are strictly out of here. I do abstract that happens more emotionally than thought. But I generally like to enjoy myself at any bit of it.
Have you discovered an artist, Michelangelo or somebody else, whatever, that has really had a positive impact on your development as an artist?
As I am right now, and I look back, I think the biggest influences for me came very early, and that was Hieronymus Bosch and Salvador Dali.
Oh, yeah.
Because they could take you where nobody else could take you. And that's a nice place to go. So
Good ones.
they were profound influences on me. I'm affected by them today.
Good company.
Yes, and you said Bosch and Salvador Dali can take you where no one else could go.
Yeah. Their work, you look at their work, it's not someplace you can walk around the corner and discover. It's not a landscape, it's not decorator art, it's dreams, it's hallucinations, it's got mythology in it. It's volumes and volumes, and each painting by each artist, even though they're hundreds of years apart, are, it's hard for me to describe simply here, but it's got me, and I'm glad I got to know those guys.
Good. I want to see it. Bosch is one of my favorite too, and Salvador Dali, his persistence of time. His persistence of time especially motivated me
Yeah.
because he's dealing with an aspect of life,
Yeah.
time. Okay,
Yes.
I like it very much. Where are you going now?
Oh, well, good question. Where am I going now? I follow different things, and when I feel like I've got it down, I move on to another one. I change. That's not advisable in America, because I like to stay with one thing and do it a lot. I've gotten into abstract, surreal abstract, whereas his abstracts are, I paint much like Harry, and I go into a fury of it. It happens very fast. And then but that's only the first step of the painting. And then I'll put it away and give it some time, and then I'll bring it back and I have to rotate it to see which way is up. The painting tells me this is it. And then I go in and I enhance. So my abstracts have a source of light, a dimension to them. It's not a flat thing. They go in deep, but it's still totally abstract. I've had people look at the painting and go, I saw the man who was feeding the dog. And then she called me up later about 3 days. She goes, no, it's really a woman feeding a cat. And I go, what did she see there? But so it was interesting that it can provoke things in people that I never even saw, but they would discover. Also, they like to touch them. I don't know. It's something that I varnish them with floor varnish so people can touch them and let them have at it. It's great therapy.
That's beautiful. So I want to thank you.
Thank you.
Brian Frank Carter. And you live in San Geronimo Valley?
I certainly do. I hold forth 40 miles from land, sky, or sea out there in the woods. No sidewalks, no street lights, no mail delivery, coyotes.
Good. And you're one of the Bagel boys.
Absolutely, man. It's, we're going to get hats that look like bagels.
All right. Thank you. Jack Comercer. Did I pronounce it right?
Not quite.
Not quite?
No, not quite. As straightforward as can be. It's just straight Kennesaw.
Kennesaw.
Yeah.
No.
No Z. Just Kennesaw. That's all.
Yes. And now, you made a recommendation to me that creates danger. When we first met, you informed me that you work with metals, blow torches, tanks of gas. And you invited me to come to your studio, and you were going to teach me how to use the blow torches and all those tanks of gas. And
Sounds great.
now,
Sounds
but
great.
Jack, you didn't know, basically all I can do is sit in front of cameras and microphones, and I would blow up the place.
I'd worry about it.
Yeah, so I want to come to your studio sometime, but let's not get involved in that. Now, you make what kind of art?
Kind of art.
Well, metal, that's your field, but you're going somewhere else. Where are you going with that question?
It's interesting because for me, how it came about is that it just came to me, and I discovered by just touching it. And the point of metal wasn't at that time an issue. The issue was I was actually a carver. I carved.
You carve
And I
things.
loved carving. I deeply, deeply was embedded in it. And you can talk about Michelangelo or anybody, whatever you come up with, explanation, description, that, you can do that. The point is when you deal really is with something that's known and unknown to you. Whether it's marble, or whether it's wood, or whether it's whatever it is, you're working with something that you get into that you cannot really see unless you enter it. Mentally here. So the material, of course, is a very important issue to me, whether it's metal or whether it's carving or wood, because the issue is really of entering the material that will bring something that you cannot exactly explain. But you can really feel the depth of it. And if it gets into places, you get lost. But that's okay, because it'll bring you back, connect you. And when metal, by the way, mentioned metal, I will bring that up. Bringing metal is working from nothing there. There's no space. There's just open, totally undefined place. And it's physical or not physical. It's mental or not mental. It's a question of entering something that you cannot quite. You have to really enter it. And so the torch really, what it brings out is it's very inert, very material itself. So deeply touches me. And you asked me about metal. So anyway, it's a very difficult question to answer.
But in a way, it was very profound what you said, okay? There's the metal, in a way, there's nothing there. And you start thinking about it, and you start working with it, and something happens, and you go into it, and more things happen. And the blowtorch is one of the key tools, a force that helps you create something out of nothing. Would that paraphrase be somewhat like what you're saying?
Somewhat.
Somewhat. Can you adjust my paraphrasing a bit? Can you enrich what I just said or improve upon it?
Boy, that's a tough one.
Yeah? Well, you're getting paid a lot of money to be here, Jack. Now, one of yours?
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. And
Yes.
Yes.
I've seen it.
Marvelous frogs.
you've seen it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Something special.
First rate.
Skip?
Absolutely.
Yeah. One.
Yes. It's alive.
Yes.
Something really to be proud of, in my opinion.
Yes.
And
Lovely.
Very light. He's using heavy stuff and it floats.
okay. Thank you. Skip Henderson. Did I get your name correctly?
I think you did.
And
Thank you, Mikhail.
thank you, who?
Mikhail.
Oh, Mikkel. And I always get a kick out of you. You always sort of pull my leg whenever I see you. And you are also one of the Bagel boys.
That's correct.
And when did you start making art?
Well, I don't want to be facetious, but I think the first time was when I dumped over my bowl of oatmeal when I was in the high chair.
Really?
And I saw the expression on my mother's face. And actually, I get that same kind of expression when I make art now, sort of this aghast. But I just noticed that being creative and doing things, you get a presence. And that's what I enjoy.
You get a present, you mean with respect to people around you?
With people around me and with myself, in a sense of what I'm doing.
So you like having a positive impact and feedback from other people.
Yes.
And art helps you do that.
I'm hoping it will.
You hope?
The positive part we're working on.
Right. And I know Harry Cohen is sort of a leader or a force that pushes things forward with respect to this group.
Right.
But from what I've noticed, you helped pull the group together, the Bagel Boys together also,
I'm sort of the jester.
the jester. You brought, and I insisted that you bring one of your paintings. Would you be kind to hold it up? What do you, not
Very
bad,
good.
huh?
Not bad at
Pretty
all.
good? And Brian, do you have a comment on it? What are we looking at?
Put it back up there. We're looking at shapes. Hold still, would you? Yeah,
down a
tip it
little.
a little fix and get in the glare. There we go.
Good, 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 good.
I like the layout of it. I like the design. It's not just the boats. It's the placement of colors and shapes as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. Skip Henderson, Jack Kennesaw, Harry Cohen, Brian Frank Carter. Now, I think we all know, all of us, and first of all, shame on you guys. You don't include me in the Bagel Boys, and I didn't bring enough bagels. But
Never
all
enough.
of you, as well as another fine human being who has some physical problem, physical, not mental, can't be here, and that is Peter Stringberg.
Yes.
Help me pronounce it right.
Got it.
Strindberg.
Strindberg.
And he's also a fine artist. All of you meet, I think, every Tuesday, and you're all on in years. And I want to know, what does it do for you that every week the five of you tend to get together? What does it do for you? Who wants to take that?
Oh, I look forward to it. It's a way of
Getting a bagel.
eating bagels and having coffee with people that you fill up your life. They're the people that make your life significant. You know,
They help make your life more significant.
Yes, they listen and dialogue.
What about you, Jack?
Well, actually, it's interesting as you're trying to describe that about the bagel boys or bagel. We actually, there's something fun, so much fun, laughing about kind of laughing about bagel, big deal bagel. We enjoy the bagel, but it takes, it's interesting is that it takes a second, a deeper back, or rather insignificant, quite just the essence of bagel. It's really more than that unthought about big deal. It brings us together, and we really enjoy the joy that we experience or feel that coming into the room and sitting there, moving the chairs into that table, and you know that you actually are feeling really comfortable and hugging one another, and then sitting down, and it's just going on.
That's right. And you can use 4-letter words.
Oh yes, oh yeah, oh yeah.
But not here. Oh, please.
No, just 4-letter words.
Yeah.
Just a few.
So anyway, that's really quite unique, wonderful.
And special at this time in your life.
Very special.
Earlier in your life, did you, on a regular basis, meet with other men or men and women and just talk and have discussions and share things with?
You know
No.
what? It's interesting. I can't even think about it. I mean, in a way, because there's nothing in particular that says, "Oh, this is just reminds me that's just like," or this is not. Oh, it's different, or so on. It's just it had such a uniqueness about it, because each one of us, we're so conscious, so aware of each other, in a very, very loving way, in a very touching way.
I think also, Michael, how to seek each other out too. I remember as a young man, wherever I lived, and I traveled all up and down California, I was always looking for artists that were saying something. And Topanga Canyon, Hollywood, San Diego, Fresno. I've always found artists.
Good.
I sought them out. I think that's what started the group. We sought each other out.
Good.
There was a need. There was a need.
Good.
Well, just to follow up with what Jack was saying, we have a presence in the group. Yeah, I think, Michael, you haven't discovered this yet, but when you get older, you kind of disappear. People just don't see you,
boy, yes,
and you're
yes.
not part of things. And
Wow.
all of a sudden, we come together every Tuesday, and as Jack was saying, we hug each other, we talk, we laugh. I think we talk about arteries more than art, but it's something that we just have a good time, and we're peers, and we are present.
True. True.
That's powerful. And I want to say, yes, I am younger, but in a way, I too feel I have disappeared. I used to have a presence in a certain segment of the business world. They don't see me there anymore. But true, I'm still out there. What do you have to say about the value of all of you getting together?
I'm notoriously a recluse, and I know until recently very few artists, one or two, through my lifetime. But usually I'm isolated and I'm going to do my work and I don't really need anything or anybody else. I was in a gallery, went to the Room Gallery in Mill Valley and talking to them about trying to hustle my art, and she said, "You ought to come to this guy's show. He's 92 years old." And I looked at the artwork. It was this guy's work. And I said, I looked at his work and I go, "This guy's 92 and he's still whipping this stuff out like that." I says, "Okay, I'm going to come here to the opening and see that." So I went to the opening, and I think the first one that got up to me was Peter, who we were just talking about. Peter was the first one to go, "What are you doing here? What are you?" Because he saw me coming in on him. And I started talking with these guys, and they said, "You got to come to our meeting on Tuesday at Woodick." We found out we all lived in the same village. And
Peter was the first guy you met?
Peter was the first one, because I was approaching you, and you were busy talking, and he said, who are you? What do you want?"
Yes, yes.
So these guys said, "Oh, you got to come to our Tuesday meeting at the Woodacre." And I go, "Why not? Okay, I better get out and meet some other artists." And it's been an addiction with these guys. It's been so much fun, and being able to, Jack's work, I think, is so profound, because it's not a flat surface. It's something within it, and to see from all the way around, so I've always been impressed with him. And his work here, I watched him get to the canvas. I saw his studio. It's filled with art. It's like a library, books. And that he just goes every morning, whips one out, and it's coming from his heart. It's coming from this music of the brush that he's got going. And so it's been really great for me. My wife goes, "Will you get out of here? You gotta go back with those guys, And it's great, and we have a good time. And it's also, we're at an age now where it's all right to be silly.
Yes.
Like we said, let's wear funny hats one day. So we all came in with strange hats. And people come into the delicatessen, there's these 4 old men sitting with funny hats on. And it's fun to have fun in life. And it's like a playground. We all meet in the sandbox Tuesday.
And remarkably, we're all different too. We all come from different sources.
But what's interesting is lately we've been drawing other people in, people who come into the store just to buy their milk or cigarettes or what have you. And I think the other day we had a whole crowd there, 12, 13
Yes,
people, just neighbors. They hadn't the slightest idea that we were a group.
Gentlemen, I want to say thank you very much. I thoroughly enjoyed having a chance to be with 4 of the Bagel boys, and you've enriched my life. I want to thank you. Hi, I'm Michael Killen, and thank you very much. Bye.
It's just like a Bagel Boy meal.
Donuts to you.
You know?